now by McKinney North girls basketball coach Michael Oldham, the coach of the second-ranked team in the area, the McKinney North Lady Bulldogs. Coach, what has clicked for your team so far this year to where you have that high ranking and 6th in the state, I believe you were telling me earlier?
6th or 7th in the state, yes. The girls worked extremely hard off season throughout the summer, played a lot in the fall leading up to our practices in UIL. And I think just the fact of them playing together, playing so much, this is our second year, with me and getting the system put in place the way we want it. And I think they just have a better understanding of what I would like out of them as far as our system goes.
Some teams have that one premier scorer that they really look to and rely on in games. You're really fortunate that you have 5 different girls that at any given moment can be the star of the night.
It is a definite advantage, something as a coach you definitely like. I have had teams where we had to run 80% of the plays to one person to generate offense. This team, all 5 girls have the ability to guard anyone on the floor at any given time because of our size and our length, which gives us an advantage defensively. That leads to a lot of easy baskets, and that's why sometimes you see our balanced scoring is more probably predicated on our defense than on an offense. But yes, having all 5 being able to score definitely, I think, makes it tougher on opposing coaches as far as picking out who to try to stop.
You mentioned the length of your team, and Alexis Mason is a player who at 5'10" is very long for a guard, and she's also a person on offense that has been able to get some of those 20-point games and has been able to find the cracks in the defense.
Alexis definitely makes her team go. She has the ball in her hands a lot. Her and KK Connor both. But Alexis, she has ability to post. She has ability to hit the 3. And then she has the ability to get the ball to her teammates in open situations. So I'm a coach that likes big guards. So having Alexis has been a blessing to me the last 2 years for sure.
You've played in a couple of tournaments early on. The Highland Parks Classic, you won that tournament. Lost an opening round game to Frisco Liberty in your other tournament, but came back and swept the rest of the games. How have you felt about your team's performance in those 2 tournaments?
Well, of course, when you come back after a tough loss, you tend to be down emotionally, and we did play a little bit down the first couple games coming back off of that loss, but found ways to win, which was very encouraging. Wasn't really playing our style of basketball we like to play. Won some 36-29 one game, I think, 52-43. So that's really not our style. We like to get up in the 60s and hold people to the 40s. So the fact we were able to win in spite of them kind of taking us out of what we like to do was promising going into district, because I know everybody is going to try to take you out of what you want to do.
Besides Liberty, your only other 2 losses have come to 5A teams, and good experienced 5A teams at that, Irving MacArthur and Plano West. What did your team learn from those losses?
Well, I think we learned a little bit about who we are, what we need to do to improve. Both of those games, we allowed a 4 or 5 minute run by both of those teams, and we just weren't able to get it back. We learned, that if we can get that same advantage over good teams, they will have the same issues. And then we also learned to stay focused through 32 minutes of a game and not just 28 minutes of it.
In the last 3 games, you're scoring back on track. You've scored over 60 points in all 3 of those games, over 80, 82 in fact, against Roy City. And you've started to hold your opponents to the totals that you'd like to hold them to as well, especially in the first couple district games, the game against Sherman and Roy City. How does it set you up for the rest of the way?
Well, defense is something we preach. Kind of going back to the tournament, we talk about your offense isn't going to always be there, but your defense you should be able to count on night in and night out. And I am getting more and more confident in that. We're holding opponents to 40.2 points right now on the season, which our goal is to hold people at 40. So been excited about that. I like how our defense is gelling, and I think it goes back to our early schedule of having to defend the Irving MacArthurs, the Plano West, the Plano East, the Liberties. Those type of teams has helped us prepare for playing defense in district.
coming into the district season, you're 2-0 after your wins over Sherman and Royce City. But the teams you're really looking to compete with for that district title are the two Wiley teams.
I say the two Wiley teams because they have played similar competition as us leading up to district, so I know they're not going to be surprised by the physicality that we try to play with. Royce City was a little shell-shocked by our physicality on Friday night. Sherman wasn't because they're physical themselves. But I know that Wiley East know us. We're familiar opponents. So I know the rivalry of those games are going to make them probably closer than what a lot of people might think by looking at paper.
You have a great starting five on your team. Who are a couple players off the bench that come in and give you those similar contributions that you want out of a team with depth?
Well, Viona Vernicki, senior, been coming in, playing solid minutes. She's shooting 70% from the free throw line. She's shooting over 60% from the two-point line and almost 60% field goals in general. She's done a great job coming in, filling a role. Allie Mahalik done a great job. Lauren Foster's coming along, playing much better, filling a backup point guard role for us, in which she helps us because she's more of a fast, slashing type guard, where Mason and Connor are more looking to score, probably a little more. Michaela Foy, freshman, also playing up on the varsity, coming in and playing good minutes, and also Kayla Shadden, another senior, has been helping us out. And all of them contributing together has really helped us in several situations where we've been in foul trouble. We had an injury at Sherman where one of our starters didn't play the last 3 quarters, and Vernicki came in. I think she had 10 points in that game. So very promising out of that as well.
One, I feel like the keys in a high school basketball game is the foul situation, because you have to manage the fouls, and also shooting at that free throw line. We see it at all levels of play. Sometimes it can be tough to knock down those free throws. What kind of an emphasis have you put on your team to hit those free throws late in games?
Well, as a coach, my personal philosophy, I don't talk a lot about it. I try not to stress a lot about it. We practice free throws under stressful situations in practice, whether that be after doing a 20-minute tough drill where they're exhausted, shooting the free throws then, whether it be shooting them in pressure situations against the clock or whatever the case may be. That's kind of the approach that we take, more than dwelling on we've got to shoot 70% or 75%. And that's just kind of a mental way we approach it.
And finally, Coach, the rest of the way for this season, how far can you go? Can you go all the way to the state tournament this year?
As a coach, you like to think that you can. I think this is the best chance that I've had as a head coach to go all the way. I know that's my girls' goal, is to go to the state championship. And I think that we do have that ability. We've just got to maintain our one game at a time approach, try to win the district championship first, and then move one game at a time through the playoffs.
Couldn't have said it any better. Coach, thanks again for joining us.
Appreciate it.
Again, like he said, one game at a time. That's what McKinney North is trying to do. They have the district slate ahead of them, already 2-0 in district, off to a good start, and they'll look to make a deep playoff run this year in girls basketball. That does it for our time on today's show. A special thanks to all 3 girls basketball coaches for giving their time and insight on the season thus far. McKinney High and Boyd are both preparing for district play in 10-5A. McKinney plays Coppell and Hebron this week, while Boyd faces Flower Mound Marcus Tuesday. McKinney North has started off the district season on fire at 2-0. The Lady Bulldogs take on Lovejoy and Wiley this week. Sports Talk is taking off for the holidays, but we'll be back on January 7th for the much-anticipated boys basketball show. Until then, I'm Tyler Sloan, reminding you that to satisfy your McKinney ISD sports fix, it has to be Sports Talk.